Salvete, welcome back, Latin 1 students. I wanted to help you guys with your assignment today and um, go over any mistakes you might have made or questions you have. We did page 96, exercise A and B. There's kind of a lot of them, so I asked you to do just the even numbers for this one. This was translating verbs. There was second conjugation verbs, a lot of those, a few first conjugation verbs thrown in there to review. So make sure you've done exercise A and B evens before you look at this, and then compare my answers to yours, and make sure you understand what's going on, okay? So let's start with exercise A, which was some Latin verbs. You had to translate it to English. Here's number 2. Now, some of these look kind of similar, and you have to be able to tell by which stem is being used and ending what tense we're looking at. For example, this new verb we just learned the other day is timeo, timere, timui, blank, meaning to fear, right? So since this is from the second principal part, it's present tense, but this you here, timui, is from the third principal part. That's the perfect stem. So it's one of the perfect tenses, perfect, pluperfect, or future perfect. Very important to be able to tell what stem it's coming from. Tememus is present, first person plural. So it means we fear, okay? And for some of these, there's more than one translation. So like you might have we are fearing, that's okay. We do fear. For some of these, you have to use your kind of extrapolation. There are other answers. Now, temuimus is perfect tense. How do I know that? It's the perfect stem plus the perfect ending, est and imus. So the perfect tense would be we feared, or we did fear, or we have feared. Timet is also present, but the T makes it third person singular. So it was he fears. Anytime it's third person, it could be he or she or it. I just chose one of them. And then timuit is also third, but it's perfect tense, that timui, the perfect ending. And so he feared or she feared would be perfect tense, okay? Again, you can't translate a sentence well if you can't translate the verb of that sentence. So that's why the verbs are so crucial, and this will be all over the next quiz, okay? Let's see what you did with number 4. Hopefully I'm answering all your questions here, but of course there may be something I don't answer perfectly. So make a little note of what questions you still have after this, and then pop by my office hours to show me your question, and I can help you figure that out. Tenebot is imperfect. Teneo means to hold. So this one I said he was holding, or he used to hold. Remember, either of those are imperfect translations. Tenuerit is the future perfect tense right here. So future perfect is he or she will have held. That's how you do future perfect. Now, mowit, look how these look very similar. Mowit and mowet. What's the difference? Well, this one's got the perfect ending for the perfect stem. This is the present stem, and it's present tense. So mowit is he or she moved, and then mowet is he or she moves. They look very similar, but that letter there tells you the stem. The stems are so crucial here to understand to get these verbs down. Okay. Now, you also got to make sure you're learning your new vocabulary. If you don't know much about moeo, this will be a hard assignment. So learn that new vocabulary. There's only, I think, 8 verbs from this chapter to learn. Learn the principal parts. Moeo, moere, movi, motum, to move. Okay, get those in your head. What about number 6, though? Parat is number 6. This is widi, also dedi, and apelawit. So parat is present for third person singular. So he prepares. This is a first conjugation, by the way. You can tell because there's an A there. They're still giving us some of those to review those, which I think is a good idea. Now, widi is a new verb. It's from the third principal part. It's got the perfect first person singular ending on there. So it's I saw or I did see. Dedi is also first person singular perfect because it's from the third principal part. So I gave or I did give would be a good translation. And then apelawit is perfect tense third person singular. So this one was he or she named or called. This verb can mean to name or to call. All right. So pretty, you want to get it to where within your head you could see, boom, that's perfect tense. It's this person, it's third person plural, whatever. So you can translate the sentence more easily. What about number 8? Number 8 is S, and confirmavero, and monebat, and manserunt. S is simply the present of sum, so it means you are. That's from the verb sum. Confirmavero is the future perfect of this verb, so it meant I shall have encouraged. It could also mean, I think, to strengthen or declare, so you may have used another translation, but it has to be future perfect. Monebat is imperfect, so it meant he or she was warning. That's one of our new verbs. And then manserunt is not from moneo, but from maneo, to remain. It's it's perfect tense here. So it's they remain because it's third person plural. Perfect. Okay. And then the last one is number 10, habuit, fuit, habuerat, tinuerimus. Habuit comes from the third principal part, so it's perfect third person singular. So he had, because remember this verb means to have. So the perfect tense of that would be he had. It could also mean he held, I think. Habeo could mean to have or to hold. Fuit is from the perfect of sum, so it means he was or could mean he has been. Habuerat. Now this one's a little tricky because it means to have, right? But it's pluperfect, this ending, pluperfect. So how do you do the pluperfect of have? It's he or she had had. I know that sounds a bit weird at first, but that is the correct and accurate pluperfect of the verb have. This first had is the helping verb, and this had is like the actual verb showing action. This is the one she had something for breakfast yesterday. Okay, so that is correct English. And then finally, tenuerimus is the future perfect of teneo, which means to hold. And so we shall have held. Remember the difference between these two verbs is haveo means just to have something in general, and tenuerimus is a little more tangible, means to hold something, to hold on to something. Okay, so that's good. All right, now exercise B, you had to go back to the Latin. You had to go from English to Latin. So this one you had to know your verb, get the right stem, get the right endings, etc. Again, make sure you've done this before so you can check your answers compared to mine. Number 2 is I shall fear is the first one. So you had to use your future tense sign for the verb temeo. This came out to temebo. That's always been the future tense sign, so there's nothing new there as far as the future tense. You had seen would be the pluperfect of video. So this is videras. Videras is pluperfect second person singular. And then finally, they will have, you need the future tense of habeo. So it's habebunt, future third person plural. Okay, so that's a good one. Number 4, we were holding. This is imperfect, so tenebamus. I made it imperfect first person plural. They remain. That one just sounds present, doesn't it? Third person plural. So manent is present third person plural. And then finally, I shall have sat is future perfect of sedeo, which means to sit. So sedero. Again, all these you got to know where the perfect stem comes from. This one, third person part, sedi, cut off the I. The perfect stem is sed, and then the arrow is the future perfect ending. Okay. Number 6, he was is the first one. This is going to be from sum. This one you could have said erat or also fuit because he was has kind of a little overlap between imperfect or perfect. So either one of those I would have accepted. Has to be third person plural, third person singular though. You will remain is from the verb maneo, it's future. So mane bis, or it could be mane bitis. Now why could it be either one? Well, in English, when you say you don't know whether that's singular or plural. It's both in English. So mane bis or mane bitis are both second person singular versus plural. And then they had warned is pluperfect, so manuerant is the pluperfect. Moneo means to warn, manuerant. All right. How we do with number 8? Will you give? Number 8 might have been the trickiest one here. These are questions. You had to make sure to use the right question word there. Will you give just sounds like we don't know the answer. Yes or no. Could be either one. So we use ne. So I did da bis ne. This is the future tense sign, and then ne makes it a question. Now, what does the next one sound like? Will they not stand? What if I contracted will not to won't? Won't they stand? That sounds like I'm expecting a yes answer. Anytime you say won't something happen. So for this one, I did none stabunt. Remember, none is the interrogative word you use when you're expecting a yes answer. So that's a good review of that from last semester. And then the verb is future, of course. And then finally, they were not standing, were they? That kind of sounds more like you expected no answer. They were not calling, were they? Calling, I think I said standing, calling. And so for this one, I did num because that's expects a no answer. Num vocabant. Num vocabant. That's imperfect, by the way. So number 8 had a little trickiness to it. And then finally, number 10, he had moved is the first one. To move is moeo. I need the pluperfect ending here on the perfect stem. So moverat, third person singular. We shall have moved is future perfect. So this one is moverimus, future perfect. And then finally, they will remain. This one's future. And so manebunt from maneo. Okay. So as you look at these exercises, look through yours. If you miss a certain thing repeatedly, that might be something to start working on to get better at for the quiz. Maybe just vocab needs to be down a little bit better because maybe you knew how to do this, but like some of the stems you didn't know well. See what your mistakes are. And again, if you didn't understand parts of these, maybe you understood it perfectly from my explanations, which is great. But if you do have questions, come by my office hours, bring them to me so I can help you before the next quiz comes up, which will be at the end of next week. Okay. So thank you guys for checking in today and being studious and going over your homework. And tomorrow I will be back to review the full Latin sentences with you guys rather than just the verbs here. We'll do the next exercise. Okay. So I hope you guys are having a great day and we're almost done with the week. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Molete.